This meeting is being recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Empire State Development's Division of Minority and Women's Business Development MWBE Training Tuesdays webinar series. My name is Michelle Olvero, Program Manager in the Business Development Unit at Empire State Development. I hope that everyone is remaining healthy and safe during these critical times. Today's topic is getting savvy with social media, and we realize that this topic is even more timely and pertinent to our current times. It is my great pleasure to introduce everyone to Ms. Erika Campoverde, Marketing and Communications Manager from the Queens Economic Development Corporation, one of our great partner organizations and Entrepreneurship Assistance Centers, or EAC. However, before we begin, let's take care of some housekeeping issues. We have already muted your phone so participants do not hear a lot of background noise during the presentation. This webinar is being recorded both audio and visual, and the PowerPoint presentation as well as recording will be emailed to all registrants. We encourage you to ask questions through the chat and Q&A boxes, which we will address at the end of the presentation. Lastly, there will be a short survey that will pop up on your screen. We would very much appreciate your feedback. And without further ado, I introduce you all to our panelist, Erika Campoverde.
Thank you, Michelle, and welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us again for another Training Tuesday webinar. As Michelle said, this is a very timely topic. So let's get started. Today we'll be learning getting savvy with social media. Let's explore and harness the power of social media to grow your business. A little bit about myself. As Michelle explained, I work for the Queens Economic Development Corporation. I am the Digital Marketing and Communications Manager. My background is in psychology. I have a certification in digital marketing, and I've done email marketing, social media marketing, and branding marketing for close to 10 years. Again, my name is Erika Campoverde, as Michelle said. Thank you, Michelle, and let's get started. By the end of this webinar, you will learn the following. It's my goal to make sure that you know what is social media marketing, why it is important for government contractors to have a social media presence, 4 social media fundamentals that everyone must know, whether you are a government contractor or not. Closer to securing government contracts. What is social media marketing? We all know what social media platforms are. So this branch of marketing is the use of virtual platforms to connect with your target audience, your audience and nobody else's, to promote your product and your service, and to achieve your marketing goals. You can move forward until you have goals. This could be building your brand, increasing sales, or driving traffic to your website. Why is social media marketing important for government contractors? Specifically for government contractors, because this is a place of easy access for anyone, for government agencies, for small business representatives, for anyone in the world. It can show the loyalty and the trust that your audience and your community has for you. Anyone wants to work with somebody who's loyal. It establishes your company as an industry influencer and leader. It can be you, if you're the face of your brand, or it could be your company itself. It also, of course, generates buzz about your products and your services. This is word of mouth. This is the best thing that could happen to you. And it projects a positive brand identity that can set you apart from all the other companies. If you're bidding a contract, this could set you apart. This is a good indicator of how well your company is managed. Government contractors can judge this based on your social media presence and how you're handling everything. Very importantly, the key to social media marketing is reaching your target audience, wherever they live, they work, or play. You need to know this. So with that, here are the 4 fundamentals that you need to know to master your social media marketing. Like anything else, you need to be prepared. You need to plan ahead. So most of you may already know this. Some of you may be new. As an MWBE business, you've probably already been around for at least a year or two. You've had your contracts, you've had your customers. So this will come in easier for you. Number 1, know your target audience. Who are you serving? Know your brand voice. How are you talking to your audience? You can't communicate with them if you're platforms. Know where you are or know where you want to be based on what your goals are and what your business is doing. Number 4, goals. Make your goals smart. You can't do number 4 until you do number 1, until you do number 2, until you understand number 3. But there's also no point of doing 1, 2, and 3 if you're not going to set yourself some goals that you will track, measure, test, and maybe shift if it doesn't work. So for number 1, know your audience. Who's your typical customer? You might already have this. Your buyer persona, the age, the gender, their income level, their life stage, newlyweds, new parents, they just retired. Who are you targeting? Besides demographics, it's very, very important for you to know the challenges, the frustrations, or the pain points that they're facing. What are they trying to solve? What motivates them? And what are their goals? There's a difference between, are they contracting officers or are they end users? Will they be the ones who are using your product, using your service, or are they the ones locking in your contract, buying it, and passing it on to the end users? And it's okay to have more than one audience. As a matter of fact, you probably should. The answers to these questions will create your buyer persona, and it will be key when you're crafting your messages online. So here's an example of a buyer persona. You have your demographics, you have the industry they're in. Very importantly, you have challenges that they're facing, the goals. How can you help? This will help you create your messaging strategy. So for John, who's 30, who's a marketing manager, who has an undergrad education, you need to focus on increasing engagement for John by providing subject matter expert content. Speak to John the way that he likes to receive his information. Here's a tip. Once you create a buyer persona, make sure that you give it a name. It's easier for me to think I'm talking to John. Will John like this? Would he engage in this? Instead of me thinking, will a 30-year-old marketing manager like this? So keep that in mind. Number 2, know your voice and your style. If your brand was a person, how would you describe its personality? Think of 3 words, 3 adjectives. This could be similar to you as a person or not. Think of the set of values that your business was built on. You have all of this. Think of the language that your audience is speaking online. If you are trying to communicate with millennials, it'll be very different than communicating with baby boomers. If you're creating content for millennials, It will be different than content for baby boomers. They'll engage differently. So at least think of the generation. And then establish your do's and your don'ts of your brand voice. This is what I will do if I want to sound confident. This is what I won't do. Here's an example. If you are a very passionate, your brand, your personality is very passionate, make sure that you use strong verbs. Don't use a passive voice. You want to show you're very authentic. Hey, it's okay to express yourself, be yourself. Don't use too much slang. Don't lose sight of who your audience is, who's receiving the message. If you want to sound reliable, make sure that you answer everything. Don't ignore a comment. Be reliable. Be somebody they can count on. Very important, and this is a tip that I say to everyone. If you have more than one person on your social media team, make sure you're on the same page. Train everyone who has contact with your corporate message. Everyone has to understand and speak your brand. It's very obvious when somebody else writes a comment or publishes a post, and it's very different than all the other posts. Especially now, if you've been on Facebook and you haven't posted anything in the past 4 months or so, make sure that now you're consistent with your brand voice. That you know your platforms. You might already have some. I won't go too deep into this, but think of where are your customers spending their time? Where are they sharing their content? Are they in the platforms that you're considering or that you already using? For your own sake, think of what type of content do they care about seeing? Is it a video tutorial? Is it something live? Is it news? Are they in tech, in marketing, politics? And think of what type of content is being used on these channels and how frequent should you post on them. Think, I need to be consistent, so I need to know what I can commit to. You do LinkedIn, you post all day on Twitter. The X is your ideal place, your perfect place. Your demographics and your platform demographics match. Here are some examples of the different networks. You probably have Facebook, maybe you have Twitter, or maybe you've tried Twitter, it didn't work out for you. LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. Okay. Learn a little bit more about each, and I'll go in more detail with some suggestions for each network later in the presentation when we're talking creating content. Go deep and not wide. Don't spread yourself too thin. Pick your top 2 platforms, nurture them, make your presence there. This isn't something that will change overnight. But the good thing is that there's an increase in social media engagement everywhere. So now you'll definitely see an increase faster than you would see it any other time. So it's a perfect timing for you to start maybe a new platform, or maybe bring that platform back to life that you're already using. If you're not sure where to start, think of, hey, let me check where my competition is. It's okay to look, but also think, is my audience being neglected at any particular social media network? Maybe you want to fill that gap. Number 4, know your goals. You know, 1, 2, and 3, but there's not much if you don't have goals. You measure them. Successes to you. For this particular one, are you looking to get leads? Maybe email signups? Do you want to increase your brand visibility? Do you want more likes, followers? Are you looking to build your relationship with the community? You want them to share, comment, answer your questions? Establish your goals and make them SMART. They have to be specific. They have to be measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Think, what do I want? In what period of time? And how will I do it? How many leads do I want to collect? Is it in 6 months? 3 months? How can I do this? And then think, how will I measure my success? These are your metrics. You have to know your metrics. Some quick examples of the different business objectives match with the social media goal. If you want to grow your brand, this is awareness. Your metrics would be your followers and your shares. That's the only way you're going to grow, if you get more eyes on you. If you want to turn your customers into advocates, engage them. Engaging means make sure that they're interacting with you. Be social with them. This is the social part of it. Okay. So your metrics would be, did I get mentions? Check your analytics. Which one got more comments, impressions, reach? Okay. Now, if you're thinking of driving leads, driving sales, which, by the way, your goal should always be to sell. Even if you are only creating content to grow your brand, your final goal is sales. It will just get you a step closer to sales. Now, let's think of contracting officers. What do they want? What are they interested in? What do they want to learn? And why would your social media help? They have challenges just like any other one in your buyer persona, just like any audience. They have challenges, they see opportunities, they like what they're seeing, they know what's trending, they want to meet their needs. So let's go over 6 steps to stay current on social media and to get a step closer to government contracts. Evaluate your active business pages. Just like doing auditing, just like doing spring cleaning. This is necessary. This is your first step. Number 2, network, network, network like you would in person. You just have to get creative and find new ways to do it online. Number 3, share and share your past performance, who your clients have been, your success, what did they say about you? Number 4, build your community and your trust. This leads into loyalty. Loyalty means sales. This is where you want to be. Number 5, which seems to be very popular now, humanize your business. Tell your story. Share the people behind it. Who are these faces? Who are these heroes? And lastly, what are you doing? How are you innovating? Show that side of your business now. We all had to shift our priorities. How are you doing it? This might all seem overwhelming, but I want you to think of your capability statement. A lot of this information is already there. What we're going to do is just make sure we use this and incorporate it into social media. Where can we place our past performance, our featured clients? You need to find where your customers are and join them, not force them to join you. So we're going to do our best to go and get to the contracting officers and get to your audience and get to where you want to be, where you want to be seen. It's not about, hey, come find me anymore. Step 1, evaluate your business pages. Locate all the pages, all the social media profiles that you have. Document them. Take a look at how much activity you've had. How do you use it? Are you using it right? How often do you use it? Then verify that it's accurate and that it's consistent. That all your details on these multiple social media platforms match. Are your current logos in there? Is your mission accurate? Take a look at your About section. It's the most visited section of somebody who wants to know about capability statement. Find ways to list your information. Some platforms will allow you to have a short description and a long description. On some, you can write your services and your product. You can even include your certifications. Then remember, when adding photos, any photo files that you add, please make sure that have a name, specifically a keyword for your business, so that they can appear on search engines. No one will find image 345. Okay. Again, make your certifications visible where possible. You can mention this in your profile information. You can also add this to your stories and add them to your highlights, so now it's permanent and it won't disappear in 24 hours. Or simply create a dedicated post. Talk about it on LinkedIn. Now let's see if you had any goals when you were managing your social media. Examine that. What content do you have? How are you measuring your goals? Why are you new ones? If you do have some and you have to shift your goals now, it's okay. Everyone is doing it. Every social media manager had to put away all the scheduled posts for the next month and change everything. Briefly, I'll go through the different social media platforms to see if this helps you understand what you're doing and if you're using it the right way. So for Facebook, it's great for building relationships and creating community. If you have an existing customer base, you can grow loyalty. If you don't, it's a little hard to find a new audience here. Now, I've noticed that people are coming back to Facebook 3 years later, 4 years later. So if you have an existing customer base, take a look at that. The good thing about Facebook is you can share all types of content. You can share any links. You can share websites. You can't do this on Instagram. Think of that as well. Are you sharing more blog posts? Do you want people to go to your website? And if you're thinking of paid marketing, paid advertising, this is the best targeted paid advertisement that you can get. You can really narrow and define your audience and your reach. If you're on Twitter, make sure you're exploring your hashtags. This can help you build your brand. Find information using these hashtags. Share up-to-date news. Is that what your audience is looking for? Describe real-time happenings. Use Twitter to facilitate some customer service. If you haven't done this before, try it. Big companies do it. Give it a try. The good thing about Twitter is you can post as many times as you want. Consider Pinterest. If you're looking into images, you have scrapbook of images. if you can use strong graphics, you want to share recipes, any styled ideas, any do-it-yourself crafts, your audience is here. It's linked to strong retail sales. It's very popular with women. Instagram, it's definitely growing now. Do so. It's much easier to build a new audience on Instagram than it is on Facebook. You could try that. It's popular for art, for food, for beauty, any product, and any event. It's also very easy to find information through their locations or their hashtag. You want to find somebody who was in Brooklyn, click on the location. For YouTube, it is a high effort, but it can be a very high reward. The good thing about YouTube is that you don't have to be a registered user. You don't have to log in. Your content is available, and it's a great search engine. If you are already on YouTube, tag your video content properly, and you will do very well on Google search. This is perfect if you want to create how-to videos, if your audience would like that. Lastly, on LinkedIn, there's a higher percentage of male users, and it interacts mainly with your profession or your career. So this is great for networking, great for business-to-business lead generation, and to also establish yourself as a thought leader. Write posts in there, share articles, show that you're there, that you exist. Okay, following with the steps to have a strong social media presence so that you can be noticed by government and contracting officers. This is step 2. Network. Cultivate these relationships. Network. Where do you want to get invited? Where do you want to get noticed? Wherever you go, always remember that you're still representing your business and your brand, similar to any in-person networking event or procurement fair that you're attending. The only way to interact right now is online. People are asking for it. Use it to build your presence. You can join Facebook or LinkedIn groups and engage in conversation. Don't simply listen, start a conversation, comment, ask questions. There are plenty of groups right now, even groups dedicated specifically for the pandemic and specifically to help small businesses. Follow influencers and government agencies. Interact with their posts. Agency that you want to get in touch with. So see what's trending on Twitter. Use the hashtags. Repost. Leave a comment on somebody. Okay. Think of your influencers. Think of the people that are key for your business. Everybody's so active right now that everybody's noticing any tag, any mention. This is a time to reach them. Step number 3. Overshare your past performance. Hearing from previous customers is very important to your audience. I'm sure we all look at ratings before buying something. Government decision makers are looking for past experience and success because they want to minimize any risk. Who wouldn't? You have to show them comprehensive customer stories or testimonials. This goes beyond 2 lines on your website. Okay? Show them that these people had similar challenges or goals. It makes them want to connect with your brand. Okay, look, that's exactly what I'm experiencing. Let me keep looking through the website or through their social media. If you don't have any testimonials, reach out to request some. You can do anything right now. People are expecting you to connect with them. You can explain how important this is to you right now. Is this all you can do until you can get back on your feet? Think of ways. Do you have any featured clients? If it's harder to get them to give you any testimonials, maybe you can at least highlight them. Highlight them individually and tag them. That will give you more content. Step 4, build community and trust. Just like any relationship, you need this. So engage with your current followers, show your appreciation, create familiarity, build that trust. It will lead to loyalty. It will lead to sales. And it will get closer to the people that are key to you. Your brand advocates can spread the news, and they will become what we know as word of mouth. Are users tagging you on posts? Are they leaving comments? Share and tag them back and comment. Think of it as a thank you. Let them know that you're active. You exist, you're here, you were here through everything, and when everything slows down and goes back to normal, you'll be in their mind. You existed. Okay. And frequency and consistency are key for this step. If you don't know how to engage with them, if you don't know what content they want to see, you really want to build community with them, but you're not sure how, ask them. You want to offer the best experience to them. They want to receive the best experience from you. Okay. Think of buyers and how they prefer to work with government contractors who will handle their concerns or issues immediately, meaning they can trust you. Here's a tip. You can use social media to provide and handle customer service. You can show that your business is listening to any issues, any suggestions, any comments, and answering to any messages. This shows that your brand will go the extra mile to service customers. Your Facebook can achieve this badge that's called very responsive to messages. That's what you want. That's what your goal is. So reduce your online response time. Now you can do this when people direct message you and you respond immediately. If you don't want to get too many notifications on your phone or email, remove any notification that has to do with a like or a follow in your page. But make sure that you know who wrote you a message, who sent you something directly. Make sure to respond. Okay. Remember that this is visible on your page. Anything that's visible, it's everyone's eyes, everyone's game. Step 5, tell your brand and show the people behind the brand. Humanizing is the biggest thing right now. Humanize your business. Make your brand feel a little less like a corporate entity and more like a friend. Even the biggest companies are doing this right now. You have to know how to speak given the challenging times that everybody is going through. When you're telling your story, stay true to your brand identity. And maybe you can mention that you're MWBE certified. Okay. Showcase the expertise that your employees have. Reveal any valuable work that happens behind the scenes. We want to see real, authentic, legitimate. Oh, this is how they're handling everything right now. Oh, this is how they feel. Oh, this is who's behind the brand. Everyone right now is contributing to your company's success. Express that. For business to government marketing, remember to always blend facts with emotions when you're doing your storytelling. Number 6, show your innovative side. Things are not business as usual right now. Make it known that you're working through these times. Have you expanded your market or your product line? Are you now making hand sanitizers? Are you making masks? Are you selling medical supplies? You have to add a new service to your business. Did you get creative? Are you offering delivery? Are you offering virtual tours? Have you established any partnerships with other companies? Are there incentives for your customers? Is this something that even the press can pick up? How's your business doing its part? How is it moving along? Your is to highlight any efforts that you are already running. Okay. Now that you can, now that you have these techniques, and tag your key relationships. You'd be surprised how many new profiles and how many new pages are dedicated to COVID-19 efforts. All the local organizations, anybody who's ever helped you along the way, anybody you've heard about, they're very active right now. They're looking for information. They want to help businesses. Use that to your advantage. Ask your followers and your friends to share on their platforms. Now, express that this is the only thing you can do right now. If you're in any community groups, you can send a direct message to the admin and see if they can share your content. You can also post it yourself, but there's a higher chance that you're ask the admin if he recommends any other groups. Do it there too. Now, if you can run a paid ad, a paid campaign, do so. Make sure it's very specific. Make sure that you know your placements. When you do something on Facebook, it automatically defaults to also creating it on Instagram. So make sure you're careful of where it's listed. Do you want it in your Facebook messages? Do you only want it on mobile? Does it need to be on a desktop? So be very specific with that. And then if you're offering if you're doing a special offer for your new service, make this desirable and with clear deadlines. Know when the offer will expire. If you want to do another one later, sure, go ahead. But make this one with clear deadlines. Okay. Lastly, when you have content that's engaging and also useful, you're giving your users a reason to keep coming back. And if you get them to stay long enough, they'll end up shopping anyway. Keep in mind the following. Social media alone is not enough to help land government contracts. Don't neglect any other traditional forms of marketing. The goal of social media right now is to keep you current and legitimate. Don't forget to establish your marketing fundamentals. Keep in mind your buyer persona, your brand voice, your channels, and your goals before creating any content. Now, once you're ready to create content, make it valuable. Make it build your strong online presence. Okay. This will help you build loyalty, bring attention to you, and eventually stand out from the competition so that you're ready now and later. Okay. Last but not least, I have to add this. Testing is your best friend. Test, 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 see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, for your audience, and your channels. Every social media manager does it. Change if it's not working, test something else. Try something else, and test again. Michelle, I believe we'll be doing some questions now, but if you do have any other questions I don't get to, feel free to contact me. You can send me an email, you can call me. You will have to leave a voicemail if you call me. So email would probably be best now. Thank you for joining us.
Great. Thank you so much, Erika. That was really, really helpful. And I appreciate folks that have been answering questions. We do apologize if there's been some sound fluctuations. I did get a message or so about that. We're adjusting to this new normal as best as we can, so we do appreciate your patience. Let me just take a moment to look through the chat and Q&A boxes, and we will get started. So Erika, one of the questions I got here is about frequency. So in terms of posting on social media, do you think it's a weekly thing, a monthly thing? Someone asked, how often should I post on LinkedIn without being annoying?
Okay, so it also varies on your industry, and it also varies on your content. You have to find the middle ground of, do I have enough content to post 3 times a week? You want to create valuable content. It's not just a matter of because I want to post. Without being annoying on LinkedIn, I say you can post up to 3 times a week. But again, think of your audience and think of the content that you're sending. And
Great, thank you.
Keep doing this every week. Because if you only do it for 2 or 3 weeks, then just spread out your content more.
Awesome, thank you. The next question is really interesting and pertinent to us dealing with COVID-19 and this current pandemic. The question is, how can you implement sharing about your company and trying to continue getting work without being insensitive to the crisis happening now, particularly when your company cannot do something like make hand sanitizer or masks?
This is a very popular question. Everybody's having a hard time with this, so it's not only you. It's okay to be very honest in your content. It's okay to express, I know the circumstance, I don't necessarily know how to help. This is how I'm trying to keep my business afloat. This is my best way of doing it. What is everybody else doing it? Engage with everybody. Even if you don't know exactly what to say, speak with others, speak with your audience. Speak to them. I hope that helps.
And I like what you said. Oh, my apologies. I like what you were saying earlier as well about humanizing companies and not necessarily presenting as corporate entities. I think now more than ever, we're really connecting on a very human level. And so I thought that was a really good point. The next question here is around capability statements. So I know in business development, we always talk to MWBEs about having a great capability statement as their marketing tool. Can you just review, Erika, how a business might use their capability statement in social media?
So to create your capability statement, you had to understand who you're serving, what you're doing, what you're solving. All of this can, 1, create content for you, 2, help you update your about page. But more than that, I would say content. Your capability statement is very loaded. It might be only a couple of sentences, but it says a lot about your company. Break it down in parts. This could be good content for you.
Okay, great. Someone wrote, we design websites for small businesses as a service to help MWBE community and to fill in overhead only, no profit. This segment of our business has slowed down completely. How can we use social media to generate more of these types of projects?
So because this is a specific audience and it's related to, or it could be related to organizations that help MWBE certified businesses, maybe reaching or going after the MWBE certified businesses is not the best approach now. Maybe going to the organizations that help them is. So think of a contracting officer versus the end user. Try shifting your content or your efforts to people who can get you to your clients, people who can recommend you to them.
Okay, the next question is, Erika, what is your opinion about using a CRM to manage social media as a whole instead of individual management of different social media accounts?
Sorry, Michelle, breaking up there.
Okay, what is your opinion using CRM to manage social whole instead of individual management of different social media accounts?
If you have the experience and if it's working for you, fantastic. There are some things that you can do with CRM systems that manually would maybe just take you too much time. If it's easier for you to create content, schedule content, track it, then yeah, go ahead and use the system. And also if you have the human resources to do it. I know small businesses are very limited with their time and with their human resources.
Okay, great. And someone wrote, should I be posting more as myself in terms of a personal page or as my business page?
Well, there will be factors that can help me answer that. It depends what your following is as an individual and what your following is as your brand. Are these two similar? I know some people that do better on a personal level than on their brand. And right now, if your goal is raising your brand awareness or simply engaging and building community, use the one that works for that goal. So think of your goals and think of which one will do better for you for that particular goal.
Yeah, I think that was really great and really helpful. The importance of knowing one's audience, as you've said, Erika. The next question here is, what is the general cost for hiring a professional to manage the social media?
The general cost to hire a professional. It varies. Some people will do it per hour. Some people will do it at a monthly fee. It varies how many accounts you have, how often you want to post, and how much work they'll have to do. If you have everything ready, and you say, this is who I am, my brand, my audience, it will make things easier. But it could be expensive if they have to do all that heavy lifting for you. I wouldn't know numbers. It really depends.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point. So when we bring it back to contracting officers, Erika, what are the platforms that you would say contracting officers are paying attention to on social media? Is there kind of a primary one like LinkedIn or Facebook, or which would you say?
Okay, so yes, LinkedIn does work a lot. Now, we all know they don't necessarily go on social media looking for MWBE certified companies, because there are websites for this where you can find the codes and the commodities for each company. But if I had to say, yes, LinkedIn, being that it's more on a professional and career level. So you can connect with people. So you can have your first, second, third connection. You can get closer to them and they can find your page easier. If you are in tech, in marketing, music, Twitter could also be another one. Someone that's on Twitter, that's very active, that could have that buying power, could come across your posts.
Great, thank you. I got a few questions regarding if I will be sending out the PowerPoint and presentation, of course. Yes, I will, along with the recording. The next question for you, Erika. This person wrote, I am relatively new to creating content and using social media platforms. Do you have any recommendation of places where they can get additional information on some social media basics?
On social media basics. If I had to give you just one place to help you, HubSpot, they offer a lot of free articles on social media. It also depends on what exactly it is that this person is looking for. You can send me an email. The best thing is send me an email and I can send you a few links and a few websites. A lot of the scheduling softwares for social media provide free information and very good information. So something like Buffer or Later, which are websites to schedule your posts, they have extensive blogs and they provide really helpful, they break down all the information.
Great, thank you. For someone that's having a hard time getting an initial following, they wrote, do you need to have a strong personal following in order to run a successful business page? Or could I run, for example, a company Facebook page without having a personal profile or any friends? They're having a hard time getting an initial following.
Okay. It's not necessarily linked to your personal profile. It will help if you have thousands of friends and you tell them, hey, go follow my page, go like my page. You'll get a good reaction if they're your friends. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are your customers. So we also can't base it on that. If you're having a hard time following, depends on what network you are. Is it the right one for you? Are you posting the content that the audience in this network wants to see? You'll have to do a little bit more testing. Also, I don't know how long it's been since you've started doing, since you've started this strategy. So also things that to keep in mind.
Okay, great. The next question for you, Erika, is what tools would you recommend small businesses use to manage and schedule their social media efforts? Let's say someone wants to release something on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Is there something that you can recommend for them to kind of manage that?
Yes, so there are a few that are free or at least have a free trial. I believe Hootsuite, Hootsuite. I believe that they have a free account, but you can only add a limited number of platforms. But try Hootsuite. You can schedule. Hootsuite was one of the first ones to also be able to schedule on Instagram. Nobody else was able to. Instagram, as you know, was something that had to be at that instant, but now you can do it. There are some limitations. You can do the carousel on Instagram. You can only do one post at a time. But Hootsuite, Buffer, Buffer is another one, and Later is another one. Give them a try. I'm not sure if they have a trial session or if they do have a free version.
That is really helpful, and I did not know that, so thank you. I think we have time for one or two more questions. This next one here says, do you think it is worth running a Facebook page ad to increase followers? If so, how long should the paid ad run?
If you're running a Facebook paid ad, I would want to know what your goal is. And I would want to make sure that your Facebook itself has good content, has some activity. If I see a Facebook ad, I'll immediately check out the Facebook page. So I'll make sure that that has some good presence and then start the ad. Based on the goal, it depends. That's why you need to establish a goal before you do anything. Do you want 100 leads in the next 2 weeks? So run it for those 2 weeks. If in a week from now, you don't even see a third of your numbers, then change the strategy. Change the targeted audience, change the content, try a video. It might take you longer to create a video, but it will give you better results.
Awesome, thank you. I think, Erika, are you okay with one more question?
Sure.
Any LinkedIn groups that you would recommend that contracting officers have created? Are there any particular groups that people can search on LinkedIn to kind of connect with those officers?
There are some groups. I can't say that I know off the top of my head of any specific group that a contracting officer has created, but there are groups for certified businesses or specific industries. I can help you search for them. You can send me an email and we can look for them together.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Erika, I want to thank you so much for your time today, and I also want to thank all of our listeners. If by chance you asked a question and we did not get to it, feel free to email Erika, or you're also welcome to contact myself, and we are happy to get that information to you. I will be sure to send the PowerPoint presentation and recording to everyone. I really thought that this was a very fruitful and informative webinar, so I really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule, Erika, to be with us this afternoon. A friendly reminder to folks that there is a survey at the end of this webinar. If you could fill that out, it's very short. We would greatly appreciate it. Our next webinar is going to be on Tuesday, April 28th, and that is regarding your elevator pitch. So we talked about social media today, but the next one is really focusing on that elevator pitch, 30 seconds or a minute tops. How do you really sell your business? So it's called Elevate Your Elevator Pitch. And I'll be sure to include that information in the email that I send out. I hope that everyone has a great rest of the day, and please do continue to stay safe and take care. And thank you again, Erika.
Thank you, Michelle, for the invitation. Everybody, please stay safe.
Bye-bye.